Hi, I'm Jared Delaney from the Virginia Tech Office of Undergraduate Admissions. I serve as an assistant director and also as the person who gets to work with transfer students in navigating the transfer admissions process. So that's exactly what we're going to talk about today, how to transfer to Virginia Tech and how to submit that application. So first thing I want to highlight is the kind of breadth of academic opportunities that you have here at Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech hosts over 90 majors that you can transfer into, spanning all different disciplines. So whether you're looking to come into engineering or natural resources conservation, political science, or biochemistry, you can come to Virginia Tech and explore any number of different programs. And the really great thing is that because we have so many different majors, and even more minors for you to choose from, you can really create a customized educational journey. Really combine different disciplines, different interests that you have to really grow those skills and help prepare you for that next step, whatever that might be. And if you're thinking about graduate education as that next step, well, you're in luck because there are many different programs that you can participate in that will help you get a jump start on your graduate education. Completing your master's concurrently with completing your 4-year degree, or working on your PhD even while you're finishing up your undergraduate education. Now, the review process is a very important aspect in terms of thinking about admissions. So I get asked a lot about this. What does it take? What are you looking for when you're reviewing an application for a transfer student? We have what's called a holistic review process here at Virginia Tech, and that means that as best we can, and we realize there's no perfect way to do this, we're going to be looking at all of your strengths, all of your potentials for success that you exhibit. These can take many forms, and we recognize that, so we want to give you the opportunity to showcase those in various capacities. The first is going to be on the academic side. As you might expect, we are very interested in what you're doing in the classroom. And that's because Virginia Tech will admit you directly into the major that you want to come into, unlike some other universities. The catch is that we expect that you will have prepared for entry into that specific program. And that can mean that you have taken some high-level or targeted coursework specific to that major. Now, again, we have over 90 programs, and so preparing for that specific program is a very, very important aspect of navigating the admissions process. But we've got a lot of resources that can help you with that. The first is our transfer admissions roadmaps. There is a roadmap for every single transfer major, and you can use the roadmap to actually design a competitive schedule. See, does my major have specific requirements? Does my major have requirements and recommendations, or maybe just recommendations of types of courses that I can take at my current institution? Now, if you're at a Virginia Community College, part of the VCCS system, your course numbers are going to be right there on the roadmap for you to follow easily. If you're transferring from another institution around the Commonwealth of Virginia or around the country, you would be able to look at some other resources to match up with the Virginia Tech courses that are listed on the roadmap. I want to emphasize here that that course selection is very important. When I'm asked a lot about presenting a competitive application, or usually it's what grades do I need? Now, your grades are important, don't get me wrong, they can show your potential for success, but the biggest thing that keeps students from being admitted in the transfer admissions process is that they may be missing 1, 2, or more classes specific for the major that they have chosen to apply to. And that's where these roadmaps come in and why they're a really important tool for you to use as you navigate the transfer process. Additional resources are available on our transfer guide. Now, this is a resource set up by our university registrar, and you can access this through their website or on our main transfer admissions page. There are several really helpful databases that you can look at to see how your credits might transfer to Virginia Tech. So when you're using that roadmap, you can look up those individual classes, maybe from your institution, here in the different databases. There's one, again, for Virginia Community College students. There's another for students transferring from other institutions, maybe in the state or out of state. And there's some other helpful resources for you to look at things like AP credit, IB credit, and CLEP scores that you might need to earn college credit for different classes here at Virginia Tech. By using all of these resources, you can easily craft a competitive schedule and hopefully a competitive application. Now, obviously, there are more things than just academics that we're concerned with and that we want to see from you in the application. We want you to showcase a little bit more about you, and there are several places for you to do this specifically in the process. The first is taking advantage and spending a little bit of time on the application. You'll have various places where you can indicate your skills, indicate your experiences, indicate any honors and awards, indicate the things that you do with your spare time or your free time outside of the classroom. Take advantage of those because we do look at those and we want to see all of those different things that you're doing, because again, those can showcase your potentials for success. There are also a couple personal statements that you will write in the application. I get asked about these a lot. People are very scared of the college essay, right? These are very, very targeted and very, very quick. And my best advice for navigating these is just to be genuine. In your own words, respond to the prompt. Don't try to cookie cutter an essay or anything like that and tell us what you think we want to hear. We really want to hear from you and your own words. So spend a little bit of time with these, but don't let that be any cause for concern or worry as you complete the application. So about that application, the process that we have used this year is students will apply through Coalition. Now, Coalition is a shared application platform. You may have heard about some other shared application platforms like the Common App, for instance. Now, Coalition allows students to apply to multiple institutions and save some time and potentially some money. So when you go to Coalition, you will design a profile, you will enter some basic information, and then you will import that information directly into our Virginia Tech application. Then you'll pick your major, you'll write those essays I was talking about, and get that submitted. And so hopefully this will be a fairly quick process. Now, here at Virginia Tech, we're always looking at different ways to make that application process easier to navigate for students. So check back with us, especially over the summer and as we go into the next cycle or before you're thinking about transferring, to see what the latest procedures and policies are on the different options that you might have for submitting the application. Currently, all students also self-report their academic information. So instead of sending those official or formal transcripts in the admissions process, we're trusting you to report that information. So we want to see what you have done at the college level. That's important to know for transfer students. We're not worried about your high school classes, your high school grades. We don't require an SAT or an ACT score in the admissions process. We are focused on what you are doing at the college level. So you will report all of your college coursework and grades from any college or university that you've attended. You'll report those through a separate portal where you can showcase basically everything that is on your transcript. Now, we need to know about failed classes, repeated classes, withdrawals, that kind of full academic journey, so we can kind of have the best assessment of how you prepared to come to Virginia Tech. You'll get that submitted, and together with your application, you will have a complete application for us to review. Now, we need to talk about deadlines. That's an important thing. You don't want to miss the deadline. So keep in mind that these can change from year to year. So again, it's important to check back with us as you prepare to potentially transfer, looking ahead for seeing what deadlines, what entry terms might make the most sense for you. Currently, we have an open access summer and fall term. So that's basically the same thing. There's not a big distinction. It's just basically when you would start classes. The deadline is the same. The review process is the same. You're notified at the same time. And that deadline is March 1st. So you'll get your application in by March 1st. We'll review your application and issue an admissions decision by April 15th. Then you'll have until June 1st to make the decision. Do you want to attend Virginia Tech? If so, you'll accept that offer by paying your deposit and secure your space in our upcoming class. I want to emphasize that I get asked a lot about spring admission, and we're kind of at a transitional point here at Virginia Tech with the spring process. So historically, Virginia Tech has not had an open access spring transfer term, but that could be something that changes in the future. So again, check back with us to see as you are approaching the timeline that you want to transfer, if spring is an option, if your major is going to participate, and kind of see what options make sense for you to come in on the timeline that you have in mind. Now, Cost is very important to be thinking about too. So here you can see the breakdown of tuition, fees, room and board, kind of all of the big numbers that you might expect to pay here at Virginia Tech as an in-state student or as an out-of-state student. I should emphasize that the vast majority of transfer students will be living off campus, so that room and board piece may be different for you. There are a wide array of off-campus options that can fit a wide array of budgets and kind of the amenities that you might want to have for your living environment. So that number is variable. This kind of follows a little bit more on our on-campus option. But this can give you a good snapshot, but there are even more kind of breakdowns, different fees, different cost calculators, and other great resources that you can find on our Office of Scholarships and Financial Aid's website. So check those out. That office is very key in applying for scholarships, as you might imagine, and that's an important part of the admissions process as well. So I want to emphasize that you typically don't wait to hear an admissions decision before you apply for scholarships. You should be doing that concurrently with submitting admissions applications, and that works here at Virginia Tech as well. And this also offers some incentive as to why you might want to get your application in earlier before that deadline. By applying as a transfer student to Virginia Tech by around January 15th, you can ensure that you have time to complete our general scholarship application. This is a great way to apply for dozens and dozens of different types of sources of university monies and help supplement your finances for the education. Now, the other major component of applying for scholarships and financial aid is to do what's called a FAFSA, the Free Application for Federal Student Aid. You definitely want to make sure that you do a FAFSA. If you already have a FAFSA, you want to update that for this year, this cycle that you're going into, so that way we can have the most accurate kind of information when we're building a scholarship and financial aid package for you. Make sure that Virginia Tech is listed in that schools list, as well as any other schools that you're thinking about transferring to. That way we can have access to your information. And I want to emphasize that the FAFSA is very important regardless of yours or your family's financial situation. Doing that FAFSA along with the scholarship application will help you be considered for the most sources of university money. Transfers can be considered for other sources of aid and scholarships outside of the general scholarship application, but that FAFSA is essential. So make sure you're doing that early on too. It's recommended to get that in by January 15th as well. So rounding things out, I just kind of want to bring it all together and kind of show you a couple of statistics of student success. Now, you don't have to take my word for it. You can look at all these different rankings and recommendations and polls and things like that to see why Virginia Tech. My favorite ones are the ones that talk about how happy and satisfied our students are, and the great campus life, the top-rated dining, the extensive academics, those types of things. But I'll tell you, my favorite statistic that you can find is our retention rate. And that's a fancy way of saying how many students come to Virginia Tech and ultimately stay. Now, it's over 93% for first-year and transfer students, which is much, much, much higher than the national average. So while you're looking to take that next step in your academic journey and make your move to transfer to Virginia Tech, you're very likely not going to want to transfer out of Virginia Tech. Because of all those different ways to succeed on campus, you're going to be able to bring your strengths and find those places on campus where you can be happy and where you can be successful preparing for that next step, whatever it may look like for you. So I just want to emphasize you to stay connected with us throughout this process. We are here to help. We have a number of resources to help you in that transfer process that you've heard about today, even more of those online through our transfer website, as well as some of the other websites around campus. So stay connected with us. Follow us on the different social media platforms. Give us a call. Send us an email. We will help you navigate the transfer admissions process. Thanks.